Hello darlings, how the devil are you? Dom here, and I've got some very exciting news because I've been wanting to do this video for a long time and we've finally been given the chance to. So some of you may remember a little while ago I did a video on a game called Anacrusis and had a look at the trailer and just my general thoughts and feelings on it. If you don't know what the Anacrusis is, it is a first-person shooter inspired by one of the writers from Left 4 Dead, and it is finally playable. Now these are just my thoughts and opinions on this. I will, for transparency, say that I did get given a key for this to try and play around with, but what I want to do with this video is share my thoughts on it, just some general facts before you buy, and just give you an overview of what you're walking into before you spend your hard-earned money. So the Anacrusis is a co-op shooter in the same vein as Left 4 Dead, and theme-wise, if I was to say it was a mixture of something, it would be between No One Lives Forever, Doctor Who, and Left 4 Dead. You're essentially running through a space station trying to escape, and everyone has been infected by these weird space alien kind of things. And in true co-op survival shooter, you're essentially running from one safe point to another. Now, before I get into more game details, I will say this is retailing at $30. It is coming onto the PC and it is also coming onto the Xbox. I also want to emphasize that this is early access. You only get access to 3 episodes, with the others being planned to be released at a later date. Your ragtag party is currently made up of 4 people. You've got Gwion, Nessa, Liu, and Lance. And they kind of got the same vibe as some sort of Star Trek Academy reject squad. And it seems to work well, and it created a nice little unique feel. They have some dialogue, but not as much as I actually thought there would be. But again, this is an early access game. So, similar to Left 4 Dead, you will start off in a safe zone, and here you get to choose the primary weapons that you're going to be using for the level. And these are the blaster, which is a shotgun-style laser rifle. There's an SMB, which is basically a laser submachine gun. And then there's also a plasma rifle, which is kind of like an AR but fires plasma. Now, additionally to these weapons, there are also special weapons that you can pick up. And these have limited ammo but have high damage output. The 2 that I've managed to find so far were the laser rifle, which fires out a constant laser beam and you can basically slice up all the aliens that come out in front of you. And then there was a Tesla gun which fired out lightning and basically auto-attacked everything that was in front of you and was quite fun to play with. Now, additionally, on top of this, you are given 3 inventory slots. One is for the grenade types, and these include goo grenades which slow down the enemies. There's a vortex grenade which creates like a black hole and sucks everyone into it. A shield grenade which you throw down onto the ground and gives you a defensive bubble to hide into. There was also like a fire napalm grenade which creates a big burning explosion on the ground and burns everything that walks through it. And I think that was it for grenades, though I have a sneaky suspicion I am actually forgetting one. Then there was the health medipack option. Now there's only one that I found so far, which was like a medical recorder thing. You basically use it to restore your health, much like a medipack. And then you have a last slot which was kind of like for health inventory kind of items, and the only one that I found to go in there was a health booster which increased your health temporarily for a short period of time. Now there were some other special items as well. You can pick up a turret which you can put down on the ground and use to defend you, and also there was a canister which was filled with like burning plasma. You put it down on the ground, you shoot it and it creates a big explosion. Now, to get more ammo for your gun, and you do run out of ammo quite quickly, there are various kind of energy transfer devices. They look like little domes on sticks. You go up to them, you press E, and then it refills all of your ammo. Aside that, there is also this matter transformer device, which adds something which I've not seen in this type of game before. It almost adds like a roguelike element, but basically they're hidden in the maps. You go up to them, and when you use it, you're given 3 options to increase your character in some sort of way. So these might be that like the energy blaster has a wider range, or you might passively regain ammo. It also might mean that you move quicker over certain enemy abilities. And while I didn't really notice them making too much of a difference, I'm sure later on down the line when they add more of them or tweak them, they're going to be quite powerful to use. But I really did like the fact that they added a new random element to the game and almost made them feel a little bit roguelike. Now, before I get on and talk about the enemies, I do want to just talk about the whole feel of the weapons. I thought the models were really well done. I thought they fit the kind of thematics of the game. They looked clean and, you know, like almost Star Trek-esque / kind of space 60s look. That being said, and I get it's early days, they just were pretty uninspiring to fire outside of the special weapons. All the ammo types generally looked the same, they had the same color type, and some of them just didn't feel like they were any use whatsoever, and I ended up just using the SMB primarily through all the maps that I played. Now, I'm sure that's probably a balance thing, but at this current point in time, they did all feel a little bit samey, and generally I didn't really get all that excited about using any of them in particular. There was also some iffy lag as well when I right-clicked and trying to go into Iron Sight mode. I get that these are probably early access bugs, so I'm not going to kick it too much, but it certainly was noticeable, and it was either there was a little bit of a lag and it just snapped in, or it just snapped in and there was no real animation into going into the actual Iron Sight mode. It just felt like it needed a little bit of animation between the kind of transference of going into gun mode to Iron Sight just to make it feel a little bit smoother. But that is, you know, those are really, really picky comments. Now, even though the guns weren't all that great, they have certainly made it up for the enemies because they were a lot of fun. So, the enemies that you get to fight, so you have the traditional zombie alien things, we'll call them aliens. They've kind of got like face huggers on them, and they just come running at you. They'll either be scattered around the map individually on their own, or they'll be in larger packs, or they just come at you in the hundreds. Now, there are also specials, which, you know, as we know with these kind of co-op shooters, that make them really, really unique. And these are the following. You've got the grabber, which spits out its tentacles, grabs you, and then holds you down. You've got a spawner, which is a creature that basically spawns out these random balls that will chase you through the map until the spawner is killed. And then they turn into little turrets and fire laser beams at you. You've got the Brute, which looks like an incredibly buff version of Predator and will charge at you and knock you back and has tons of HP. You have a spitter-style enemy that will spit goo at you. If it hits you, it encases you until an enemy shoots it off. And this is like a perma-stun unless someone does something about it. It also will put the goo on the floor, which seemed to slow you down as well. There was also an unnamed alien, and the only way I can describe them is they look like conkers in their seed shells, you know, those spiky balls, and they usually came in packs of about 10 to 15, and they're in the floor, and if you disturb them, they just suddenly start flying around and attacking your face. They have a fair chunk of HP, and just with the general hell and chaos of the game, are a real pain in the ass. And lastly, my favourite alien I have ever played in this kind of game, I thought it was brilliant, it's called the Flasher. And no, it's not an alien that, you know, shows you its genitalia. Basically, it comes in with this bright, blinding light. And you just cannot see this thing when it's in your face. It makes everything go blind. And then to add it on top. Now, I don't know if this is a bug or not, but whenever these things appear, the little normal aliens with the face huggers on them come in their thousands. So you have to kill the Flasher really quickly. Otherwise, there's just hundreds of these aliens and they just do not stop coming. So if you don't stay on top of things when fighting these various different aliens, it gets really chaotic really, really fast, especially when you're in those environments where you've got to survive for kind of a certain amount of time. In my opinion, the aliens are the best part of the game. Even though there are some with similar abilities you've seen in other games, the new ones were just so much fun and I really, really enjoyed playing them. Now, in terms of level design, it really fit the thematics to it as that space age 60s swinging design. They are essentially mechanisms to get you from A to B. I don't think they're designed in a way that, you know, Ghost of Tsushima was just like, oh, you know, let me take 20 different screenshots on how beautiful everything was. They set up an arena for you to shoot tons and tons of aliens, and I couldn't really complain about it. I think it's also probably worth mentioning that there is AI in this game that you can play with. Ideally, you do want to play with a full team of human players. I found the AI to be a little bit stupid at times and just wandering off, or it wasn't firing at the enemy, or it wouldn't break you out of some of the kind of stun mechanics, or alternatively, I was just waiting for the AI to come into the safe room so that I could actually finally finish the level. But it is an early access game and they have been very clear about that. And for the most part, I didn't really run into any bugs. I didn't really run into big major game-breaking problems. It was a relatively smooth experience. Anyway, I've been waffling on for far too long. I'm going to leave the video here. I am going to do some more videos on this about my just general thoughts on whether or not I'm actually going to be buying this game at the end of the day. But for now, everyone have a great week. I will be back with more news soon. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all later.